the NBA and China situation is all the rage. Of course, Rockets owner, GM, they were supporting those in China who were protesting for democracy and a communist country. And, you know, the backlash that came from the Chinese government trying to block the games, ban all further media outlets for future NBA games in China. They tried to cancel all the games in China, but, that didn't happen. And this is a big deal because while we live in a democratic society, we have to understand that the entire world does not. And we have to understand the implications of certain things we say when we have business partners that have different views. It's sort of like you see like a lot of backlash with a lot of companies that don't support the LGBT community, and that sometimes it hurts their business, and sometimes their stance forces them to lose sponsors. Well, in this case, the NBA is in really a big bind or a quandary in losing $1 billion partner in China. It's $1 billion industry over there. Everybody goes over there and makes a killing in terms of basketball. Fans look up to them, even from players like Stephon Marbury to Allen Iverson, Kobe, Steph, LeBron. Those players are idolized more overseas than they are over here. So, although we want to spread the democracy, you got to really watch how you handle situations and say certain things about events that are going on in other countries. Like in America, we speak freely, but if everything isn't free everywhere else, and that's something that I think people have to really understand and really like about living in this country. You could say anything, and outside of the realm of possibility of just getting backlash, like people on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook, nothing's gonna happen to you. While in any other country, things happen to you. And while I don't necessarily believe in communism, you got to understand where the Chinese are coming from. They don't want anybody trying to oust their government, and they don't want a business partner preaching the gospel of a democratic society to oust that communism that has got them there. And they're looking at it like, how dare you? You owe us a lot of money in terms of U.S. A lot of your GDP, we make a lot of it anyway. So why are you meddling in our business? So that's what it boils down to. Unfortunately, I think it was blown out of context, but every culture is different. Like the American culture is built on free speech, getting in your face, loud. Other cultures, you gotta be more reserved and understand what you're talking about and speak with respect. That's one of the things you understand. Speak with respect. And I feel like they just took it as disrespect. So, but that's a worrisome thing, and that's what leads me to this. Could we be seeing a future lockout due to the situation? A lot of the dollars that are coming from the NBA have been coming from the globalization of the game. Now that the Chinese government is like willing to pull sponsors or make it more difficult for the NBA to gain access, all those $100 million contracts are the NBA. Is the NBA going to be handing out IOUs? And that is a quandary within itself because players are getting paid at I think the highest rate ever. Like this past summer was $1 billion summer for contracts for everybody. People like Damian Lillard making $257 million. Giannis is gonna make 250 some odd dollars, whatever the case is. So you got these players that are promised all these contracts, and that's due to the projection of all the funds that's coming from overseas. So this is really dangerous for the NBA. They gotta repair this quick, fast, in a hurry, to say the least. Watching preseason, I don't like to make much of preseason. It's not necessarily the end all be all. But one of the things that I kind of caught wind of, everything is not what it seems. It's not going to be what it seems this upcoming season. And I'm going to tell you a few reasons why. Watching, for example, like when you watch the Lakers, people look at them like, okay, we're the team to beat. We got all this stuff. They're balling. They got LeBron, AD. When I watch them against the Nets, you really could shrink the floor on that team because Danny Green, as great as he is, he struggled through the playoffs. You know, I mentioned this in my last video. He struggled through the playoffs, all through the playoffs, and even in the finals. Caldwell Pope, streaky at best. You don't have anybody that necessarily spreads the floor consistently. Even with Anthony Davis, those who play LeBron passing the ball on the perimeter, they sagged off on him, and he had to go inside. And that is kind of scary because you're trading twos for threes, and if the team is able to hit threes at opposing teams able to hit threes at a pretty good clip, you're in trouble. And one of the reasons I say you're in trouble is because LeBron and AD, they're not necessarily combining for like big numbers like how LeBron and Kyrie did. One game they combined for like 36 points. And this is preseason, it's still early. I'm just saying, like, everything is not what it seems. It's not what it seems. Then you're looking at the Clippers. The Clippers, they won't have Paul George the beginning, I think, month or two of the season. And Kawhi Leonard, of course, he's a great player. His debut, he had 7 points, like 6 assists. However, where is you going to get extra scoring from? Because it's going to be like, you got Kawhi that can get you 30. Lou Williams can get you 25. Now, who's that third scorer until Paul George comes back? And then when Paul George does come back after the surgery, is he going to be 100%? We saw this in the playoffs where OKC lost to the Portland Trailblazers. Paul George wasn't necessarily 100%. So is this surgery going to make him 100%? He got double surgery. He had surgery on one shoulder and then surgery on the next. How does that play out going forward? So initially I thought, like, okay, Clippers, Lakers, they're going to be on top of the West. But when you look at all the other teams and the depth they had and the shooting that they have and the fact that they're going to be coming out the gate more, they're going to come out the gate healthier than both teams, I don't necessarily think the power rankings and all this other stuff is going to be as accurate as it seems. I think the Lakers and the Clippers coming out the gate, they're going to struggle a little bit. As much as talent as they have, I think they're going to struggle. And I watching the games really revealed that to me. Like, you're looking at the Lakers, you could shrink the floor on them. And there's nobody that's a knockdown shooter that's going to hit 15-footers, 18-footers, and hit 25-footers consistently. There's nobody on that team that you can count on consistently because they're not going to always get open looks. People think, well, LeBron's on the floor, you get open looks. You have to surround LeBron with shooters. If you surround LeBron with other guys that are not consistent shooters, that floor becomes a whole hell of a lot smaller. Then we look at the Clippers. You know, the Clippers have a well-rounded team, but they're losing the essential piece of the table in Paul George. And Kawhi Leonard, the way his body is set up, he's not going to be playing all 82 games. And if he does, there's risk of injury there right then and there. And we're talking about injury, we're looking at Kyrie with a facial bruise. So the Knicks, this is kind of crazy. The Knicks have the potential to go a little further than the Nets if Kyrie keeps getting injured as well. So everything is not what it seems as the projections are holding. And, you know, like, you look at a team like the Warriors, you got Steph dropped 40 points in 25 minutes. And this is preseason, guys. I know this is preseason, nothing to get crazy about, but that just goes to show you, like, people that were writing the Warriors off, like, hey, they can't win any games, they're not going to win any game, they're not going to make the playoffs. I think that's premature, guys. I think that's really premature. That's premature. And Steph just showed you why it is. So two key things from this video that you need to take away is NBA might be handing out a lot of IOUs due to the China situation because their projections and these contracts, these future contracts and the payments are based on what they're going to make overseas. And if they continue to meddle in overseas affairs in terms of government issues and stuff like that, that's going to hurt dollars, point blank, period. And then the other takeaway for you to take is everything in the league is not what it seems in terms of how your team is going to play. It's not gonna be roses and peaches. You really got to objectively look at the games, and objectively look at the teams, and look at it, especially with the Lakers and the Clippers. Initially, I thought like, okay, this is gonna be something crazy, but then you're looking at how the makeup of the teams and the injuries they both got to deal with, and how guys are doing load management. This is gonna be interesting. This is, I said this before. This is like the most wide open it is for any team to win a championship. Any team can come out of this. Any team. Any team. While we have favorites, any team can really come out of this. This is the year of parity in the NBA. Hoops Junction, where hoops meets hoopla. Like, comment, subscribe.